Now let's talk about playing quietly on the bassoon. In my first days as a student, I had a lot of trouble playing quietly. Teachers told me, don't pinch the reed. And, well, they were right. This doesn't sound very good. I agree. We shouldn't do that. But how do you play quietly without closing the embouchure on the reed? Well, actually, you do need to close the embouchure on the reed. You need to have the proper balance of air and embouchure in order to play quietly. There's a few steps I think that will be most helpful for students to play quietly on the bassoon. A good sound will always have maximum air flow. Always support the sound well. When you close the reed with the embouchure, consider cushioning the reed more, putting more lip surface on the reed. Also, pulling the reed out of the mouth slightly will also dampen the reed and give it a darker sound. Let me explain a bit more how the surface area of the reed, the vibrating portion of the reed, affects the volume. Think of the reed as a noise maker. The more you have vibrating, the louder the noise. The more surface that is vibrating, the louder the reed will become. In this figure, I have the lips placed very close to the first wire. This means that almost all of the reed blade is vibrating. Where the lips are in contact, however, the vibration is dampened. But most of it is vibrating, with the exception of the edges of the blade that are not, the rails of the blade are not vibrating. And you can see that the aperture is very open here, and it's only the very edges, the very corners of the reed blade that are not vibrating. Now here's an example of the least vibrating area of the reed. The lips are slid right up to the edge of the blade where the aperture is. So everything beyond the lips towards the first wire already receives some dampening there. And we only have the portion of the reed that is in front of the lips, that is the portion of the reed inside of the mouth that is vibrating. And with the lips pressed down a little bit more, you can see that the aperture is very small. So only the white area there do we see some vibration happening, and then you see a dampening through the rest of the reed. So this is a contrast of the two, showing the least surface area vibrating when the lips are towards the tip, and the most surface area vibrating where the lips are towards the first wire. Now the normal position of my lips on the reed is more towards the middle of the reed. This allows me to change the timbre, and also by altering my lip positions a little bit, I can also change the volume. Earlier in lesson 8a in the Weissenborn page 12, you can see how I change my lips positions a little bit on the reed and therefore alter the dynamics and the timbre of the tone. Now let's apply the concepts of dynamics and musicality to this duet from Rubank's elementary method. This is lesson 8, number 6. I will use the musical shaping that I've given in red. Tune a Day, Lesson 21, Number 7. Let's practice some more phrasing. If at all possible, don't breathe after measure 4. It's easiest to do this composition more in 1 than in a slower 3. What a lovely song that is. One of the things I like most about Tune a Day is they have some beautiful melodies from the European and American traditions, and it just is enjoyable to play some of these beautiful melodies.